Greetings, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to another episode of Ranking the Albums. It's Sunday. Thanks for spending some time with us here on your day off. I know the weekend's a good time for most people to catch up on a little bit of YouTube viewing, so thankfully we have this wonderful show that we do each and every Sunday called Ranking the Albums, where we take a look at a particular band or artist. We look at all their albums. We rank them in the order that we prefer them. Myself, either solo or with a couple people helping me out, and you guys watching at home. And if it happens to be a show on a band you've never heard before, well, now's a perfect time to kind of hear some commentary from us about these albums, the ones we like, the ones we don't like maybe, and how we rank them, and then for you to decide to go listen to them, maybe make some purchasing decisions, that sort of thing. So, and I urge you, if there's a particular band we're doing that you've never listened to before, well, think of it as a learning experience, right? It's time to find something new, a band you've never listened to before that maybe could be your next favorite band, right? So today we're going to take a look at a very cool band that was actually introduced to me just a few months ago. I had never heard of these guys before, and then a couple of our viewers, I was reviewing, doing a ranking show of another similar type band, and a couple of viewers were like, Pete, have you listened to billsteer's band Firebird? And of course, Bill Steer is the guitarist and vocalist from Carcass, right? Death metal band, British death metal band, and he also was a founding member of Napalm Death. But Bill Steer also had, for a number of years, a very cool kind of bluesy hard rock band called Firebird. Go figure. Never heard of Firebird before, but like I said, a couple of viewers were like, well, Pete, if you like this band that you're talking about here, you'll probably love Firebird. So I was like, all right. So I went out and I listened to some songs from Firebird, and I was instantly taken by the music, and I went and scooped up their 6 CDs pretty quickly, and I've been listening to them quite a bit over the last couple of months, and here we are. So there are 6 albums in this catalog. Like I said, this is Bill Steer, excuse me, on guitars and vocals. A litany of different bass players have played with the band over the course of their somewhat short career. They were roughly around for about a decade. So I'm not going to name them all because there's a ton of them. But drummers who have appeared on these albums are Ludwig Witt, Tom Broman, and George Atlajic. Those are the 3 guys who have been in and out of the band on these albums. So, but through it all, Bill Steer is the main guy. This is his band. His really cool guitar work. And again, if you're only familiar with Bill from his guitar playing in Carcass and Napalm Death, you're going to be shocked and pleasantly surprised at what he does on these albums. He actually must be a really big fan of like classic, heavy proto metal blues rock, sounds of the 70s, right? So think early Cream, think Humble Pie, think Cactus for sure. Right, and maybe some other bands here and there, little bits of Robin Trower, little bits of Pat Travers, right, that sort of thing, little Johnny Winter, all kind of rolled in here. I'm going to mention along the way, I'm going to mention some certain bands that I hear referenced from time to time. So if you like any of these kind of more bluesy hard rock bands or an artist that I'm going to talk about, I think you're really going to like these albums. They're fairly easy to find. I got most of them either on Amazon, Discogs, or eBay. You can get most of them fairly inexpensively. And most of them are on various records, like, Steam Hammer, Rise Above. Those are the labels that most of these are on, if I remember correctly. Yeah, most of them. So let's get started. So I'm going to start this. So there are 6 albums in total. I'm going to start off with my number 6 and work my way back. So number 6, I'm going to go with their 3rd album from 2003, just called Number 3. Yeah, that's a pretty shitty album cover, right? I mean, these are not great album covers here, I will say. So, but there is a little caricature drawing of Bill Steer himself. So it starts off with a song called Cross the Line, which is a rowdy up-tempo rocker, which opens things up. Good song. You get Tumbling Down and Stone Believer, both kind of high-energy rockers that come after that. A song called Station. Not really that much into that, but it kind of has a funky feel, and there's some kind of cool electric piano in it, so it's not terrible. You got the bluesy Hard-Hearted, which there's going to be a little theme that's going to run across all these albums for me. Basically, on every album here, there is one song with harmonica and like a surplus of harmonica. And as most of you know, I'm not much of a harmonica fan. So every album's got at least one song, and to me, it's overused a little too much on each of those songs. So generally speaking, those aren't my favorite songs on the albums. But Hard Hearted is not bad, but again, ditch the harmonica, Bill. Right? Really don't need it. End of the Day. Pretty fast-paced and heavy. That's a good song. Long Gone, slower, bluesy number with a scorching guitar solo. Man, I can't stress enough how good the guitar work is on these albums. Really, really good. Off the Leash, nasty riff, but it's one of those songs where the riff kicks in, and it gets kind of mellow and moody for a bit. Then the riff kicks in, then it kind of meanders for a bit. I wish the intensity kind of stayed throughout the whole song, which it really doesn't. Dream Ride, kind of generic sounding. Not really much on that song. And then the closer, Friend, is a pretty good one. It's kind of moody, longer track, which has a Robin Trower feel to it, plus like a really nice guitar, slide guitar solo near the end. He does unleash some slide guitar on a few of these albums, on a few songs, which is cool. Kind of lends it that kind of Johnny Winter or like Southern rock type of thing. So overall, kind of an uneven album, but it does have some good moments. This was clearly my least favorite out of all the 6. So that's number 6. All right, number 5. Going to go to their 4th album from 2006 called Hot Wings. Okay, that's the Firebird, Rising from the Ashes. Okay. So, starts off with a song called Carousel, which kicks all sorts of ass, people. White hot guitar licks all over the place, and Bill, I think, sounded a little more confident on the vocals. At times, he's not the greatest singer in the world, but he's not a bad singer either. It fits the music. He kind of reminds me of like a sort of, at times he sounds a little bit like Jack Bruce. A little bit. Okay? Maybe not quite as good as Jack Bruce, but kind of along those lines. But as the albums went on, he seemed more confident in his vocals. And here, this is the 4th album. I think he sounds pretty confident on this album, which is good. But check out Carousel. It's a great song. That's one of the best songs across all these albums. Really, really good. Then you got Good Times, more of a groove-laden, kind of heavy stomper. Misty Morning, another raunchy, kind of Cactus sounding. They do have some songs where they sound a lot like vintage Cactus. So if you like Cactus, I think you'll dig that quite a bit. Drums on this is really good. Again, the harmonica pops up. Usually on those like kind of rootsy, bluesy, rockin' songs that have that Cactus feel, there's generally a little harmonica in all those. So again, this is the one on this album, right? But it's still a pretty good song. Play the Fool. Sounds like vintage Foghat. Really, really good. Horse-Drawn Man. Big, heavy riff rocker, killer song. You got Overnight, Fast and Furious, which reminds me of kind of like the heavy yet funky stuff of classic Trapeze. So if you like Trapeze, you'll dig that. Bow Bells kind of slow things down a little bit. It's more of a bluesy rocker with some slide guitar. Not one of my favorites here. It's okay. Flying Blind, another high energy hard rocker. Dig that quite a bit. I Wish You Well, kind of a boring track. I'm not really into that. But it's got kind of like a slight Black Crowes feel to it. So I can't dislike it all that much because I do dig the Black Crowes. Needle in the Groove is a snarling slice of heavy blues rock. Really good. I think Government Mule fans will really dig that one. And then Last Days of August has a nice humble pie, slow blues feel to it, which I kind of dig. And yeah. Pretty strong album. A couple weak songs, but the rest is really, really good. And I definitely think that people would dig this one quite a bit. Alrighty. Next up is number 4. Going to go with Grand Union, their 5th album from 2009. That's the slipcase. Basically the same thing underneath. Again, these album covers are not very good. So, another scorching opera here. Blue Flame. Excellent song. Jack the Lad follows that. Ton of heavy grooves and killer riffs. Really good song. Smoking guitar solo from Bill. You get the catchy and bluesy Lonely Road. Fool for You, kind of funky, bluesy. I like that quite a bit. Really good vocal on that particular one. The wah-wah comes out for the kick-ass rocker Silent Stranger, which is one of the heavier songs here, and perhaps my favorite on the album. Another band highlight. Another one of my favorite songs from the band in general. Release Me, kind of bland. All right, that's not that great of a song. Wild Honey, though, is really cool. It's got a strong Robin Trower vibe. I dig that quite a bit. Gold Label, thick and chunky. Kind of reminds me of like Winery Dogs. And even a little bit of Black Country Communion. Big, thick bottom end with the bass. Heavy drums. Nice, chunky riffs. Got kind of like a bluesy, funky, kind of, like I said, thick and chunky feel. I don't know how else to describe it. Really, really good song. Harmonica comes back, of course. Got to make an appearance on every album. On Worried Mind, kind of bluesy. It's okay. See the Light, cool guitar solo, but the rest of the song kind of doesn't really do a hell of a lot for me. Then you get a raucous cover of Humble Pie's 4-Day Creep. Really, really good. Really, really good. Again, some of their stuff does remind me of the heavier Humble Pie quite a bit. And then you got the lengthy closer, Caledonia, which has tons of groove. Strong album. Dig this one. Dig it, dig it, dig it. All right. Go to number 3 here. Going to go with their 2011 sixth and final album, at least till now. I'm not sure if Bill is ever going to resurrect these guys again, but it's been over a decade. I kind of think they're probably done. Double Diamond. All right. There they are. Soul Savior. This is a little bit of a different album. Soul Savior, more traditional hard rock. That's the kickoff track. It's a good one, though. Nice riff. Really cool song. Ruined, another lean and mean rocker. You got Bright Lights. To me, sounds like Thin Lizzy meets UFO. Not so much with like the twin leads, but like the way the riffs are kind of set up. Really like it a lot. You got the Fast Pace for Crying Out Loud, which is a terrific heavy rock song with excellent guitar work. Again, reminds me of something that like the 70s version of Thin Lizzy would do. Farewell is the first real bluesy number to pop up on the album. Not a bad song. It's got a memorable chorus, but it's kind of less like high energy than the rest of the stuff on the album. Let's see. We got the Crank and Groove Monster, A Wing and a Prayer. You got Pound of Flesh, which is raunchy as all hell. Some nasty guitar licks and drum solos all over the place on it. Very, very cool. You got Arabesque, which is darker and more menacing. Has a really killer guitar solo. I just wish the song was a little bit longer. It's got this kind of like mystical Zeppelin meets Black Sabbath feel. Really dig that a lot. Lose Your Delusion, upbeat bluesy hard rock. And then you got the closing brooding Pantomime, which is kind of dark, heavy. It's kind of like a blues rock song, but it's got a great riff, absolutely stinging guitar solos, really memorable chorus, great vocals, really good song. Go check out Pantomime. Really, really excellent closer, and as it appears to be the final song that these guys would have on an album. Really strong album, great way to go out. Little bit less of the kind of bluesy rock thing and more of just like kind of like a straightforward hard rock record. But I wouldn't be opposed to recommending this to anybody who hasn't listened to these guys. I think it's a very strong album top to bottom. I think the two that I'm going to name next have the more mind-blowing tracks on it, but this is a really, really, really solid album that I would not complain if you wanted to try this one first. Double Diamond, really good. 2011. All right. So we're going to make it all the way to my number 2, which is going to be their debut album from 2000, which is just called Firebird. All right. Yeah, I know. Not much to look at here, right? A lot of orange. A lot of orange. Crunchy blues rock. I mean, that's what this is all about. You got Meantime and Torn Down start off the album in fine fashion. Steer, to me, like I said, sings like more like a hard rock version of Jack Bruce. Music is kind of like a mix of Cream, Humble Pie, and Cactus on steroids. That's what the first couple albums remind me of. Loads of white hot guitar solos and riffs everywhere. Stranger to Himself, more of a riff-driven, heavy guitar leads everywhere, kind of Pat Travers-ish on the guitar leads. You got a song called Bollard, which is more of a moody blues number. Not the band Moody Blues, but like a moody blues rock number. One Trick Pony, total ass kicker. But again, I could do without the harmonica. That's the harmonica song. Woohoo! You got screaming wah-wah solos on Raise a Smile. Great song. Heart and Soul, heavy, killer riff. You got Fat Cat Groan, also slays, and I just love the nasty licks all over that. I mean, Bill is just playing up a storm on this album. Then you get the mid-paced Caught in the Quagmire. good song there, and the lengthy slow blues closer, Through the Fields. I think overall this is a pretty terrific debut. Only bested by my number one, which is their second album, 2001's Deluxe. There we have a little drawing of the guys in the band surrounded by lots of white. Yeah, these album covers are not good at all. This is a great album. I think Bill's guitar tone is nasty as all hell. This one's on Music for Nations. Nasty guitar tone all over this album. You get Dirt Trap, kicks off the album, rocks hard. Like I said, Bill doesn't have a great voice, but it fits the songs really well, and the guitar work is so damn good on these albums. I love the funky and heavy Steamroller. You got Forsaken, another crunchy riff monster. Hammer and Tongs kicks all sorts of ass with a rampaging riff and busy drumming. Another highlight track, Hammer and Tongs, really, really great. You get the moody Miles from Nowhere, which is more of a slow blues burn. It's got some nice simmering organ, screaming guitar solo, good song. You get the real gritty, Lonely and Sober. You got the bluesy headbanger Zoltana, which is killer. You got Sad Man's Quarter, I should say, which sees Bill break out the slide guitar for a raunchy kind of southern rock style barn burner. Really love that a lot. Slow Blues, that's the name of the song. Sounds like a Long Lost Cactus song. Rowdy and raunchy, got loads of harmonic on that. I think this is probably their rawest sounding album, their most raucous sounding album, and there's riffs just everywhere on this. Terrific. For anybody who likes bluesy, power trio, heavy rock, I think will really dig this one quite a bit. This is my favorite of all of them. So yeah, Deluxe, number one. Firebird, number two. Going to go with Double Diamond, number three. Grand Union, number four. Hot Wings, number five. And number three comes in at number six, actually. So if you are a fan of Firebird, let us know what you think of these albums and how you rank them in the comments below. Otherwise, go check some of these out, man. I would say check out my top three. Those are quite good, and I think you'll get lots of mileage out of it. Just real, if you just love 70s style bluesy heavy rock, this is a really good catalog to check out. So there you have it, everybody. Visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube all together all the damn time. Please subscribe if you haven't already. And click on that notification bell so you get alert of all of our content as it posts. It's amazing how many people come to the channel each and every day, each and every month, who don't subscribe at all. It way outshines the people who actually have clicked that subscribe button. So, we have 82,000 plus subscribers, and yet 1 million people come to the channel every month. And so obviously hundreds of thousands of them never subscribe. I don't know why. But hit that subscribe button if you're watching this, and also please do hit the like button as well. And if you'd like to make a channel donation, we've got the link below to our Ko-Fi page, and as well as our merch page where you can get all sorts of cool Sea of Tranquility stuff. So thanks for watching, everybody. This edition of Ranking the Albums, I think next week is Baroness. I have to check with Chris Canzaneri because he and I are doing that one together, so I have to make sure that next week is going to be the Baroness episode. If not, it'll be the week after that, and I'll find something else to do for next week. I've got a long list of Ranking the Album shows to do, so it's going to be keeping me busy throughout this year. And so we'll see you next week with another Ranking the Album show, whatever it actually might be. And until then, I am Pete Pardo. Have a good rest of your weekend, and I'll see you tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.